Now I want to introduce on stage to join me Dr. Shandy. Dr. Shandy is a licensed clinical psychologist and founder of Artesian Collaborative, who has had the privilege of working with diverse owned businesses and communities for more than 20 years. She aims to equip individuals with skills to tap into their resource during painful and tense situations. A 2023 Enterprising Woman of the Year Award honoree and a Goldman Sachs 10K Small Business member and top shelf alumni, Dr. Chandy has worked with Fortune 100 companies, small businesses, and nonprofits. Her expertise in developmental psychology, cross-cultural engagement, and high-risk populations in her clinical work has equipped her to aid teams, even those with intense conflict, to come to a place of shared understanding and engagement. Dr. Chandy believes that understanding our identities, cultural context, and unique situations is vital to achieving effective and sustainable growth. With this framework, through therapy, consulting, and training, she enables people to care for themselves, their workplaces, and communities authentically so everyone can thrive. Dr. Chandy is here to help us with a morning activity. Good morning.
Good morning, Ruben. I feel like Ruben is very kind and very nice and really wants me to go by Dr. Chandy, but I think we're all friends here and I'm very used to being called Sunitha. And I want to engage us all in a little bit of a mindfulness activity. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and I get the privilege of coming into sessions like this so we can really set ourselves up for success, because what I'm really passionate about is taking the skills and resources of mental health and really translating them into practical skills. But we are all here with the purpose of being present, to learn something from one another. And so I want to get us started on the right foot so that we can really understand the why behind why we're all sitting here today. So I want you all to just take a moment with me and reflect. I want us to think about the why behind our what. So let's do some mental time traveling together. Are you with me? All right, I love that. I love how we're feeling this moment. So let's take a moment together. And I want you all to reflect on the challenge that you or your team overcame this past year. Now, sometimes we don't want to look back at challenges. I think there's some really great fruit that we can get when we think about what we did to overcome those things, who we relied on, what skills and assets we pulled up. Because in those unexpected shifts or roadblocks, that's where our resources came. So go ahead and pause. Think about that challenge that you overcame this past year on your own or with your team and how you successfully maneuvered that. Everyone got something in their mind right now? All right, I'm looking around. All right, now this is what I want us all to do. We're just going to take a minute or two because we're here to be active. We're here to share our resources. I want you to turn to someone near you, introduce yourself really quickly, and I just want you to share one or two things that you learned during that time on how you overcame that challenge. It's all right, go ahead. I'm going to give you a minute or two and just share with the person next to you. What did you learn? All right. My least favorite thing to do is to interrupt energetic conversation like this. I love the energy and the buzz that's happening right now. So it makes me feel really good that there's a lot of solutions that you all have come up with, and there's a lot of different things that you all have done to overcome different challenges you faced. So I'm going to bring us all back together. So thank you all for sharing. Again, I love that energy, that volume, what happens when we start sharing, because those challenges brought up a lot of stuff for us. When we were in those moments, when it was difficult, but when we can share the things that came up that we learned, I hope you felt that energy. For some of us, that was hard. It was difficult to share. It was difficult to keep it short. So I want us to take a moment together to just reflect quickly on what that was like for us as a group. So I want you to take a moment, and if you have your smartphone with you, you can scan this QR code because I want us to answer a question together. In a word or a phrase, I want you to tap back to what emotions did you feel in the midst of that challenge? Just take yourself back to before you found those solutions. What emotions came up for you in those moments? Just want us to think about that. What came up? For a lot of us, there can be a lot of different feelings that show up in those moments. So just share a word or a phrase. We can see right now on our word cloud, there is a lot of anxiety, a lot of stress, a lot of insecurities and frustration, confusion and terror. I love doing this because for all of us in that room, in the midst of that crisis, that conflict, that roadblock, there was a whole host of emotions that we were feeling. And for each one of us and for each of our teams, it was a spread of different things. But I want to ask us another question. So thank you all for sharing that. I think it's helpful for us to know we weren't alone with what we were feeling during those hard times. Let's think about this next question for us. Is how did you feel? How did your teams feel when you overcame it? When during those long nights that you came to those solutions, through brainstorming, through the diversity of your team, through those suppliers that you reached out to, when finally something came up that helped you move through it, what were some of those feelings that came up? So take a moment. We're going to go to that next poll there. If you can switch screens, we're going to scan that next one and think about what were those feelings that came up for you when you overcame that difficult season that you were in. Because we know when we're in the midst of that hard place, there's a whole set of feelings we have. What's it like for us when we step out of it? Just take that moment and think about what came up for you. And let's just look and see. I know sometimes for me and my team, I might still be in that place of anxiety and fear, even after I made it through, because those feelings are heavy and they're hard. But I want us to think about, where are we going when we're in those hard places? And we've come through that stress, that anxiety, that frustration. Where are we working to move to? So let's take a look at some of that. If you've scanned that QR code, what are some of those feelings? And if some people just want to shout those out, I'd love to hear. What do you feel? Oh, here we go right now. I love that relief is nice and big there, because it's that deep breath, that relief that we feel. But the happiness, the empowerment, the optimism, it's that buzz and energy we heard earlier. And that's what I want us to hold on to today. Today is going to be a day where we're going to take a pause. And we right now might be in the midst of these feelings where we're feeling empowered and trusting and proud and happy. or we might be coming here today with some big hurdles that we're trying to jump through. So I want us to take that moment of mindfulness and just think about where you're sitting. And I want you to think about the resources that you are bringing to the table, because our goal today is to take those resources, the knowledge, the amazing diverse suppliers, and the things that are ahead of us, and to work together. Our goal is to make connections, to have great discussions, so we can build resiliency and strength to turn these current challenges that we're facing into future wins. And so we're going to take moments to pause and reflect so we can bring our best forward, so we can celebrate those wins and keep moving through the challenges. I'm really excited about the marketplace. I'm always excited to learn new things and to find new resources. So I would love to have Ruben come back up here, because I always want more knowledge and I always want to know more about what we can have access to. So thank you, Ruben, for sharing more.
Dr. Chandy, thank you very much.